This is called Calling, a spiritual podcast with a twist. In this episode, we're discussing themes related to self, self-worth, self-love, self-respect, and self-care. We'll be touching on the following topics: the role and importance of planning, structure, and being on time from a spiritual perspective, transcending familial, societal, and cultural conditioning, how to transform our old selves and our self-imposed limitations, as well as how to know what our own needs are and having healthy boundaries. And yes, we are aware of it. We do say like a lot. Like a lot. So without any further ado, here are your hosts, Sahar, Kathy, and me, Jay.
Maybe the last 2 months, maybe if I'm really truly honest with myself, the last 3 months, I have noticed a tendency of being behind, like being late to everything.
Really?
No, not everything, because I'm an early girly.
She's always early.
Oh, like
early
very early.
Time,
Yeah. And I've noticed that in the last 3 months or so, I'm behind, and it's like I'm planning, yet I'm using kind of the same techniques as before, yet somehow I'm always behind and late. I'm late. And I don't like that, but I don't know where I read this, so I won't even try to add like a book or anything. I don't know where I read it. Or maybe I heard it. I don't know. But it was talking about how time has to do with self-respect. And it's connected to the soul. And I was like, what? Bring it back. And it's when you are late, like chronically late, right? We're not talking about like, oh, I'm running behind this one time. When you're chronically late, it has to do with lack of self-worth. And I don't remember everything, but it did resonate. It's something that I taught Matthew. It's like showing up on time because he shows self-respect. You would think that it's respect for others, but actually what the deeper truth of that is you're anchoring self-respect. I choose to respect the time within me, to honor the time outside of me, meaning the other people that you're showing up for, or whatever it is. And we were talking about that, and I was sharing with Jay, like, I've noticed, and I think I said 2 months, but truly, if I really bring it back, it's been like 3 months. Maybe a little more.
I even remember, let's say like 10 years ago, playing in a band in Long Beach, and they were chronically late. And Long Beach culture is like a subculture, maybe it's just like Southern California, but Long Beach specifically, it's like, it's like, certain countries in the world, it's like, I'll see you at 6, and they really mean like, I'll see you after 8:30.
Oh, I didn't know that about Long Beach. But I feel like every culture says that, like, oh, it's Black people time. Oh, it's Latino time. And I'm like, no, B, it's just your late time. It's like, you're just late. Every culture says, oh, it's Filipino time. Or it's Black time. Or it's this
Well, it's never them, right? It could be It could be like Bulgarian.
You just late. Yeah, you just late,
And that's why it said, like, certain cultures or certain countries, like, I don't want to bring that into it. Like, we can all be guilty of it. But I played in this band, and there would be, practice time. And, the way I was raised, my parents are very... When we were talking about the planner, I learned it from my parents, just seeing it growing up. My dad would always sit and like, we'll cross, if you ask me, like, do you cross everything? That's how
everything was like literally scribbled out. Like,
so the reason why it's scribbled out, it makes whatever hasn't been scribbled out, it makes it pop. So then I would circle it.
Is that why it was so like? I saw his planner, but I really enjoyed it, and it was like, I know.
But the reason why it's not a cross, it's like when you cross it, it still pops. The edges will pop. And so when you zigzag it like that, one, it very much kind of wipes it out. you can still read. So when I go back, the reason why I was looking at my planner is like I have the custom that every at the end of every year I'll go through my planner. I will sort of do revisit the year from the planner's perspective, and I would see certain things. It helps me track my meditation so I can connect it to something else that was happening. But that might even bring up a different memory. It's like, oh, I remember around that time I was doing this, or I was working on such and such a project. That way, that's how I hold myself accountable. So sometimes I also have, certain weaknesses or, not so great habits where I'm like, it's not that important, right? My planner is tiered that way. I have certain things that's like, if you get circled and it doesn't get completed because it's a weekly planner, then I would transfer it to the next page. Or I would say, I won't do it next week because I know I have 40 things and I can't do a 41st. And it's not crucial. I'll transfer it 2 weeks ahead. Anyways, to rewind it quickly back to, this is how I used to operate. And then I played in this band, and I wasn't necessarily the band leader, but because I had these habits and this discipline, I was very we're doing this, and the music was very special, and I could see it's there was kind of a slacker energy to it, but there was a slacker energy to it, and I was like, it just needs to be polished. We need to kind of have discipline, and it would just that will help propel it, because it needs to be contained. It's just
right.
It diffuses too much. It's leakage, as you would say, right?
Yeah.
And so, but they were chronically late for practice. Practice at 4. No one's even there. First person shows up at 4:20, and then the rest roll in later. And after a while, I was they're not being respectful of my time. I'm not going to be respectful of their time, which is a total. This is a very terrible. This is my conclusion.
Tactic?
Yeah, it's
no,
it's
but you're putting something on it for me. Thank you for saying that. I don't mean to get you off, but no, keep going.
And I'll just finish it, and then I started practicing this thing. 4:00 practice. No way I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up at 4:30 and F you guys.
Yeah, okay.
And then I became part of the problem, and so then it took me years to. By the way, I own the business, as you know. It was the business that taught me to be more structured, because even in the business I kind of had this sort of it's fine, it's loosey-goosey. Well, it was kombucha fermentation, which is in itself, it's very hey, it could happen, it's you need to be able to kind of float, but it wasn't until recently that I've become more this, otherwise it doesn't happen, and I recognized that. And
I was just gonna say that, and I don't want to call anyone out but my partner. He always late, but disgustingly late. And me being an on-time girly, it's just he'll say, oh, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And I've learned through tendencies, I'm a tendency girl. You can tell me this and that, I'm gonna watch your patterns. I'm a pattern recognition. And that's how I can recognize people. And energy is like a pattern, right? So it's just pattern recognition. And one of those patterns and tendencies that he has is to be disgustingly late. And I'll say, he'll say, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And before I'd be 15 minutes. And then I'm okay, it's not 15 minutes. It's more 30 to 40 minutes to an hour. So now on the phone, I'll say, is it 15 minutes or is it 50 minutes? But I don't mean it condescending.
No, that's really sweet.
He knows that I mean it he goes, no. Well, now he'll say, before he would get upset, but now he'll say, no, if you want to see it that way. And I'm no, just asking so I can properly prepare, so I can, And he'll be no, it'll be for 15 minutes, he'll say 20 minutes. It was 50 minutes, close to an hour. So I've noticed that pattern, and I can see him being less late. He's learning something that I know I am a conduit to teach him is being on time. But I've noticed, and this is said by Tony Robbins a lot, is who you surround yourself with, you become. I've noticed that he's picking up a lot of my good tendencies. Yet,
this is
the heck happened. I'm really picking up a lot of his lower tendencies.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, because I'm all nerdy and I'm not nerdy, but I tend to have these Virgonian type energies, and I'm why am I picking up really parts. And late, like tardiness is one of them, and I've noticed that. And when I got here, I'm like, I'm not typically a late girly. But then, I went to sleep really late, and the excuses came in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am listening to him speak right now. So all I said was, thank you for your patience. And you were like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay.
I didn't have an opportunity to be late. Like, it wouldn't have happened for me today. So.
Oh, yeah, right.
So like it's
everything
just,
worked out in your favor.
It's just not fair. You know what I mean? Because I get it.
No, but it's just one of those things. And you have something to say about.
Oh no, this is just such a topic that I'm like, ooh, let me just calm down. And so I'm trying to be like centered about it. And this is a big topic actually for me. So when you said you were late, I'm like, oh, because you are not late, right? Because I always hear you making statements when in the past, like, on time is late, girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember you saying
I used to say
the
that.
Japanese culture, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
Yes, my grandfather's militant, so it's like, you gotta be on time. This is why when people say, oh, it's Latino time, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you Latino? Me Latino? We brown and proud, but like, listen, we were on time. And on time meant like 10 to 15 minutes
So
earlier.
I do think that, well, first I was going to say about your book, when I saw this scribble, because usually, when people do a task, they'll check it or put a line through it.
Yeah.
And this was a deliberate big
a big old...
zig.
It feels good when you do it.
And then you were showing me through each page, and I'm like, wow, you zigged. I'm like,
Zigged.
does that mean like this is gone? This will never, I never want to see that again, up for a second. But I did like what you did. And I'm just saying this because this is something that I've been studying, in the past. And then the last few years, I think, the quarantine, I remember I got this awesome planner book. It was me and Marisa. And we're so happy. We ordered the Abraham hit, whatever book, and we're going to do it. And then it was a quarantine, and it didn't matter. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
We couldn't plan, but... So it went out the door. I had a friend who... I was having so much stress and so much. I think I was having one of those life breakdowns because I'm like, I can't handle it. There's just too much going on. I was so overwhelmed. I was trying to figure out how to work smarter and quicker and blah blah blah. And I found this simple book. I don't even know how it happened on Amazon. And it turns out it's one of my friends that's very close. And then he ended up being kind of like a guide with me, and we would talk every day. Because I was going to teach a system, which I still think about, you're making me think about it again. And the way that he did it was, he'd okay, we're going to get a book, if you want, get all the book with the squares in it, a book with a little tiny graph squares.
Oh.
And you write out, and this takes a lot more time, so some people might not want to do this or not, maybe don't have the time, but you fill it out, and you put in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it becomes a strong thing because it's all about hand touching, coordination, not technology. It affects your brain more, and you're thinking about it. And he's like, everything in this book comes true. And then anything that matters to you, you're scribbling your dreams, you're this, you're that, and then you are doing a delegation. You notice all the things that you didn't do, and you draw a line to move it over to the next day, and you'll see a pattern. If something keeps happening that you keep moving over, you need to let go of it.
Yeah.
So he had this whole thing, and I really loved the concept because I would hang on to things. I want to get it done, but I can't. I'm trying to do so many things, and it became a fun thing because it was about. So that was one thing I wanted to say that you reminded me of looking at the planner. I also like that you blocked out the time because you you made top, middle, and bottom on your page, so the top was must be kind of a thing.
Yeah, this was a later thing. I did that doesn't exist in my earlier planners. It was 2023 when 2023 probably. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that the top is have to do. The second one is kind of what you're working on, or second.
Well, the top is typically because I have multiple aspects of my life, right? I have, life, which is external things I have to take care of, bills I have to pay and things that are important. You know what I mean? And I have certain responsibilities that you gotta stay on top of. The middle portion is actually my spiritual practice. Is that component? So it includes meditation, includes and
I would see in that he had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're check. If you
I gotta look at this calendar.
If he did certain things, which I thought was really good. What I liked too is so I'm kind of just putting it in what I understood. The top the middle, and the bottom was like the not as important, but you would like it.
Yeah, like
so, and then you could quickly, easily look through the pages at the end of the year and see, wow, I was consistent here. I wasn't like it was easy.
It tells you a story,
and that I think is so important because you can easily reflect and remember more accurately. Because otherwise, it's just kind of in your head. And how are you going to learn if they say you learn so much more if you track things, and you know so much more if you track things. Yeah. So that was one of the things. And then, I will just say, definitely, I have associated time as like, I've had very bad low self-esteem, bad thoughts about myself growing up, to the point where I'm not over it. Like, I will still cry, like, right now if I'm not careful, because I came to those assumptions. And like, I want to help people learn that they're good, I've learned the opposite. I've decided that, like, people make assumptions, and also you're taught that, maybe you track that you're just bad, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're just lower than dirt. I've felt that way, and I have struggled through it, through the learning process. And so that's why I do have a soft spot for anybody who, I just don't think people are made to be dumb and stupid and late. I don't think that's how they're meant to be, but they can be treated that way, or perceive people who are that way, that I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, you are lower than me. And that makes me want to like the other part of me wants to fight them. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, that is not true. And I had so low self-esteem, I didn't even know I could stand up for myself. I don't even know how to explain that. It's only through the many, many years and our spiritual practices and me having desire to evolve that I only feel like I learned this recently. It's almost like this hidden shame. And so I also feel we're different people, and we can go as far as saying maybe we come from different planets. I like to be in the no time zone, where you're like in a meditative zone, and when you're in that zone, you're doing your art, you don't know what time it is, and you don't want to leave that place. And so you will lose track of time, and I am totally good with losing track of time. And as a matter of fact, it's almost like I want to do everything, and I want to save the world, and I will do everything for everyone else, and I will always be last. That's been my trend. And then I'm like, why is my stuff not good? Why doesn't anyone tell me I'm good? Why is my room a mess? Because I have to do everything for everyone. That's been my kind of the story, that I'm actually trying to shift. That's the I want to say the old me, so I'm glad I'm saying it now. And it's like, I don't know, I just wanted someone, it's like wanting someone to save you. I want someone to be like, you are good. You are, come on, you're important. When anyone has ever said that to me, one of the people that has said it to start that was memorable in the past was Star's dad. He was the first person that recognized me, and he would defend me. And I didn't even know that I was I don't even know, I can't explain this, but I'm like, I'm important. More than that, someone will defend me. It was just nobody would ever defend me. And I've been through a lot of weird situations and people as a kid, let's just say. And then the next one is Star. Star would freak me out because she would be really, really loving. And I remember thinking oh my God, I don't know where this is coming from. This is what I needed my whole life. I wanted someone to tell me, you're good, you're not bad, you can do it. I didn't learn, I was never, you just get in trouble, and then you're bad and dumb. It's kind of and I wasn't around anybody that was, the blessings to my family. This is where I feel like I'm outing people, and I love everyone. But my mom didn't learn. She came from survival, and I think escaping by not being present. So she could be late, very late, and so that didn't matter. And then my dad had a regular job, so he'd be on time. But no one has ever taught me. It's actually Grandma, you guys know, she's militant, and I remember feeling like she must really, truly, in the beginning, not like me. She, I want to say hate, but doesn't like me because, it means this thing to her. You are, again, this negative. You don't care. You're disrespectful. And I remember thinking that, in the past, that if, nobody cares when I get there, because it wasn't a conscious thing, but it was I'm not that important. Who cares? No one will know if I'm here or not. This is God, I have a lot of weird history. Like, I can't even believe this is coming up, but I'm glad it is, because I'm, trying to be like, shift. You can't change if you're not aware. And I also feel like people are motivated by different things. So Grandma used to do this to Star, and again, this is nothing against Grandma. Star would have, this is probably where some of she gets anxiety and stuff.
Star's her daughter, by the way. For those of you listening, Star is her daughter.
Everybody. So Star would have panic attacks in the morning or at nighttime because she's like, I'm not going to be able to wake up. Because Grandma's tendency is like, you got to do this and you got to do that. And if you don't do this terrible thing's going to happen. And the energy's so strong.
I can relate to that.
And so Star would be like, I can't fall asleep and I won't be able to wake up. And she would have these panics. And I realized, now this is just like kind of I don't know, like the class Spiritual Business Management where it talks about that we are soul types. We are primarily, we're made of some different rays or soul types, kind of like personality. And so we are ruled by, especially like certain, so like a Ray 1, I would say like Grandma seems like a Ray 1. And Ray 1s are motivated by reward and punishment. Do this or else. I'm like, wow, I think the world was created by Ray 1, the old world. Do this or else. Structure. Fear or you're not going to make it. And I'm like, Ray 2s, this is more of the lovey type, that is terrifying, that is not motivating, that will create anxiety. And I would say, Grandma, I think if you want to like get started, do something, you got to tell her why it's so cool. You got to tell her why it's amazing to wake up early, because that's going to motivate her. And that's where I learned too, because I was like, so we're motivated differently. We're different type of people. Sorry, I don't want to keep taking up like this space about it, but this just brought to my attention.
Take up the space.
But that's my trigger, because I've grown up and it's always been like, beating myself up for everything. And it is like, so I do like, I don't know. So understanding how people work, I think, is, I want to say magical, because I feel we're all meant to do amazing things. And that is also based on our conversations and yesterday, like what is exciting to me, like who are you really? Why are you really here? What really makes you, what makes you so excited to get up? Like those are the things that I hope that we are inspiring each other to do. And so thank you for sharing that. I am still trying to figure out, today, but there's just so much going on, and I still have that in my energy field. I'm like, I want to help these people, and I've got to hurry, and I've got to drive, and for some reason, it's not out of the system yet.
I love how you... Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to chime in, and please remember what you're going to say very quickly. It reminded me when you were saying, I have to. It reminded me from my coaching certification, talking about, have to versus want to, and
I get to do this.
And reframe, it's what is it that I want for myself? And one thing, because I talked about this year, one of the things that it taught me is, and I was sharing with Sahar, I think when I saw her several days ago, it taught me I can't be pouring from an empty cup. You know what I mean? It's if I'm chronically deprioritizing myself, it's you know what I mean? It's just always going to be others. This has been the lesson this year, has been prioritizing myself. And I think I was sharing with you over dinner the other night or last night. Prioritizing myself so I can be in a good place, so that I can pour from a full cup.
Yes.
And it's choosing that.
And this is our year.
This is our year.
I have to say, this is taking a long time for me. However, whatever reason being, I've tried studying karma to truly start to feel like I'm important.
You are.
And I'm just saying, it sounds like we know that from the beginning. Oh, love yourself, that whole thing. But it's a deeper...
It's embodiment.
It's a really deeper
thing. I love and recognize myself. And I love that you're saying that.
The identity thing, that helps me a lot. I don't know if I was saying that to you yesterday, but I was telling Jay about how I was instead of just being our old version self, we want to think about being your best version self, because they don't have those problems. They're just this amazing soul. They're untouchable, right? So if we remember, we become that. But in the process, it's still... like I had to convince myself, and I was saying, gosh, I don't know if I'm repeating it. I know I am repeating it to you. I don't know if I
Go
said
for
to you.
it.
But like when we go, I am the soul, I'm not the body, I'm not the emotions. That should be freeing. But I learned that a long time ago, and that didn't work for me. And I didn't want to tell anybody because I'm like, and I had a friend that was like, Kathy, I just had the biggest realization. I was having this problem, and I started saying it, and it was like, wow, it made a difference. And I'm like, So
cool, bro.
I get the concept, but I'm not. You know what it was? So I'm not feeling it. I know it, but I'm not believing because I believe through feeling, kind of.
Yeah.
So and then I would
Well, that's
tweak it.
embodiment, actually, and let me just tap into that for because there is intellectual like awareness of it. Like when we say, "Oh, I know that," it's like love yourself. Oh, I know that, but yet you move in a different way. It's because you can intellectually understand something.
Yeah.
But when you understand something, that's already you feel it inside. That's an emotion, which is what I believe you're talking about. That's embodiment. That is living what you intellectually now understand, right?
Yeah.
So I think that I know that that's what it is. It's embodiment because we can know so much, and then you hear it, and it's like, oh, somehow I just get it now. It's taken me, 5 decades, and I'm like, good for you, because a lot of us are like thinking like, oh, I've studied this, I've studied that. I don't remember which one of you said it, maybe it was you yesterday, like I've done this, and now I'm just feeling like I'm doing this, and it's like there's so much deadlines from the outer world, like you have to do this by this time, you have to do that. I'm like, baby, or my students will say like, what is my purpose? And I'm like, bro, you have many purposes, and it's just like it's really about just living life. Try the skiing, try the painting, try all these things so that you may find what you are enjoying, and you are in that point crafting the man, the woman, the goat that you want to be. And I don't mean goat like I said the goat. I meant like an actual goat.
Oh, an actual goat.
Like an actual goat. Yeah, no. I meant like an actual goat. Whatever you are, it's that.
I would like to credit you with that. For me, and to relate it to what Kathy was talking about, is like we've learned all these things, right? It's a couple of things that you're talking about because she referenced it. All the things that you've like studied or learned or things that you've practiced, it's like it's all of it coming together, right? So then you can like drop in your body. And I was crediting you with like what I deeply realized this year. It's like all you need to really do is like just live life, be yourself, don't be afraid to make mistakes, and let all these things, like through your act of fully living and being present and being authentic, let it all drop so you can understand what it means for you. Because what you were referencing is like it's the theoretical versus the practical, right? It's like in theory I understand it, I understand how it makes sense. In practical is like in practice, I'm practicing it. This is how it applies in my life, because how it applies to your life is not necessarily how it would apply to you, what it would look like. Maybe for some people it just doesn't work. Maybe for some people it's like it's all they need to do. It's like, I'm not the body.
Yeah.
It's like, great, it works for you. Fantastic. And so I think it's super nice when you sort of like let go of these expectations of like when you're supposed to do something. And I've done the same thing. I'm like, I have like 2 coaching certifications. I should be, have to external. Have to is always external. Want to is like, what is it I want to do? I want to do it when I'm in a good place so I can like just spill over.
Don't shit all over yourself.
Yeah.
Don't shit all over yourself.
Too. So
don't shit all over
Yeah, I mean,
yourself.
very guilty of it. I mean, you're telling that story, but I could pull you out of there, put myself in that, and I could tell a very similar story with just like slightly different details. And I think most people would relate in whatever way has been applicable to them, because we live in this world, right? Mm-hmm. The title song we're using for this podcast kind of touches on that. It's it's this material world that's teaching us, like it's conditioning us to think a certain way. And so the beautiful part is when you say like, stop. Is it that way? And also like, why? Break it down to like, is it as like, okay, this overarching thing, like we're supposed to hustle. I've heard this so many times, like living here in Southern California. It's like, you have to hustle, bro, and it has to be hard, and it's like you're not sleeping, you're not eating. It's like, bullshit. It goes against it goes against everything, like all the studies, and now we have like so many studies. It goes against the science of like hydration, nutrition, rest. They say like the most important thing for athletes is actually rest.
Yeah.
Is quality rest. It's not just rest. Like it's not 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like okay, great. Yeah, let's see how many nights in a row you can sleep for 4 hours and let's see what happens to your body, right? And so yeah, it's like all this hustle culture that's teaching us like time, this, that, the other thing. And I think what I've realized, bringing it back to the planner, it's like the planner has a place. And also as an artist, you know, I recognize like I have days where I'm just like making music. I have no idea. I feel like I've been just like walking down a road for like days in a row. I don't even know what day it is, you know. And it's like, yeah, and I enjoy that. And in my planner, it says like it's wide open. I have wide open days where it's like recording. It's the whole weekend, you know. So you know, it's always a balance. You know, it's like it's always a matter of like, what is the outcome? What is sort of like you cannot skip this. You know what I mean? It's like you cannot not pay a certain bill or whatever, for example, or you cannot not go pick up your friend at the airport whom you promised you would give a ride because they rely on you. That's a non-negotiable, right? It's like you have to do that. So other than that, like everything else can float.
Well, I think that's the beauty and the magic in balancing both worlds. Like something that I teach is a pragmatic approach to spirituality, right? And having that is, you know, there is, like you said, there's times for a planner, and there is like the time for no time. That's the flexibility of it all. It's like, okay, I'm living in Earth, and Earth has this specific time. But as artists, right, art is magic. So therefore, time just kind of expands into everything and nothing. And it's kind of like you're saying, we've gone in calls like, what day is it, bro? Like, I've been Sahar, where you been? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I've been gone.
It's whatever watching it, tell me what day.
It's no time. Like, I get lost in it. And yet I can go back and come back and I'm like, okay, I gotta pay the gas. I gotta take Matthew here, you know, do all these things. Yet you're constantly navigating. And it's the beauty and art and magic of life here on Earth to navigate like the non-negotiables and the flow states and the creative endeavors that we go into, and I think that's the beauty of it here.
And who's to say that it has to look like this way?
And who's to say? Ain't nobody can tell me nothing. Who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me, boo? That's a Real Housewives thing. I know someone will catch that. Who gonna check me, boo? Yeah, and something that you mentioned about when you're doing something that you love and you lose track of time and you want to be doing it, it made me think of my partner and how in the years that the 2 years of spending with him, I've noticed when I would be with you, and I love you both very deeply, we could go hours and we're like, oh, it's already that time, or we're like, oh shoot, it's been like the time really went by fast. But when I got with my partner, I remember I went there after work. I was in Beverly Hills and I said, hey, I'm nearby your area, like I'll be there in like 15 minutes. It's like, okay. 2 days, I know. 2 days went by. I promise you we did not know. 2 days. That's wild, and that hasn't stopped. And I think, in my defense, not that I need defending, because who gonna check me, boo? But I'm just saying, in my defense, I'm like, it still happens. It's like, okay, I gotta get ready for a meeting, or I have like some sessions, and I'm like, how did that happen? We just like, you know, and I've noticed that I'm constantly reminding him about time management, yet he's really mirroring to me like, wait, I'm kind of lacking there right now. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I think it's because we enjoy each other's presence and essence, that we get lost in that. It's like being with someone that you're in a constant flow state. And that, I say, it's Sahar really has got to navigate the magic and art of life, and really like the earthly, like, hey, you got to go to work.
Going back to like a earlier comment of, you know, who's to say what it should look like, right? It's like being in a flow state, and there's nothing wrong with that. if it doesn't disrupt anything, like who's to say like this is wrong or this is right or this that? And it took me to my ex-partner would really complain about me taking 5 hours to vacuum. This is the truth.
Did you take 5 hours?
Yeah, maybe not 5, but it would take me 2 hours to vacuum.
Look at me judging.
Great awareness.
Okay, well, you know what? My husband, he would take a long time washing the dishes.
Yeah.
And he was helping me because I didn't want to wash the dishes, so he just took it on. Yet he would take hours and he would bother me. And I think about that kind of triggered, and I'm like, but I'm able to recognize that I'm like, oh, he was doing something kind, and who am I to militant the time that he takes to do something that's kind of
I think it's good to look at, like, why did that bother you?
Because he wasn't spending time with me. Because I wanted to monopolize his time. And thank you for teaching me that. Because I know you're watching.
Well, and to Sahar's point, for me it took 5 hours. She would say 5 hours, but maybe it took like an hour and a half for something that should take like 20 minutes.
That should.
But did you really?
That should though.
Did you start and stop? Like
meaning that it would normally take. Well, I'm gonna explain why it takes so long, and then to sort of like bring it all the way back to what we're talking about, like being in a flow state. But to cover the entire area, to do a good job to vacuum, it's like 20 minutes maybe. You unplug the cord, whatever, and like taking your time. But for me, it's like, I'll vacuum, I'll be like, oh, that guitar looks so good. I want to pick it up and play. Nothing wrong with that. It's like that guitar called to me. I picked it up, I played it, it brought me joy. I was vacuuming, but now I wrote a song, and now I'm like, oh shit, when I'm done, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna track that, I'm gonna demo it because it's like it's flowing. So being in the flow state, right, where it would be like, oh, I didn't realize they put this thing here. It's like, oh, cool, yeah, it's so interesting. And then this, I haven't seen this in like 2 years.
Isn't that like ADHD or something?
Maybe, but who's to? I mean, it's like we're throwing the ADHD, and a lot of people are saying this, like we're throwing it so frivolously, like what? Because ADHD is an actual disorder, right?
Yeah.
That's what the last D stands for. So it's like we're throwing a medical condition around, and that's what I've heard too. Like people have been saying, like we're using this very freely. We're just throwing it like, oh, my ADHD. It's like, if you haven't been diagnosed, you don't have ADHD. And like now we're talking about the spectrum, this, that, the other thing. It's like, and I've learned, and to credit ChatGPT a little bit with this, right? A little has brought like awareness to how I operate based on certain, life path, using numerology, using also my human design to throw like certain modalities. And right, I have ingested that information, I have sort of like distilled it, and it resonates with me. It's like, yes, I recognize it, here, all of these things. And so then it brings like a deeper perspective on like how I operate. And it talks about like depth. You're like a depth-based artist. But it talks about like that embodiment we talked about. It talks about like taking an idea in the art and embodying it and seeing actually what shakes up. Because, it talks about like the stuff that deeply resonates with you. That you're built for that. You're designed to do based on.
I'm into that. I just got into some human design. I think there's different forms of it. So I'm just getting into it. But I love getting back to we are beings. So if we love and understand the different beings, they operate differently. It's like this is how they're gonna best thrive or be their best version self. They need to operate this. Why do I have to make my system, like why do I impose my way on, this is what people do. Do you know what I mean? They're not conscious of it. Yeah. And it's like, no, it has to be this way, and this is how it has to be. And like, you're basically, this is what we're trying to break away from, is all the programming. Like, did you guys read the, what is it? It's a favorite book. It's The 4 Agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the 5 Agreements, but 4 Agreements, everything they say in there is so powerful. And number 1 is like, well, I don't know if it's a number 1, but I think you're just born into all the programs. your first of all, the lineage and the energy, which he doesn't get into, but I'm just saying, like, the energy of your lineage and, like, your mom and all her feelings, all that stuff gets imposed and all, right? And then you got their belief systems about love, about money, about life, and then you got the city, and then you got their religion, and then you got the country, and then, like, and then there's, it's just this big snowball. It's amazing. Anyone breaks out of it to a degree, depending on how intense. Like, when I, certain religions, as like, we know some people, but the religion is so strict, it's like, I can't believe people get out of it. Do you know what I mean? Or they don't even completely get out of it because it still haunts them, and then they're not allowed back in because they're not in. So yeah, basically, wouldn't it be cool, is probably the question, like, wouldn't it be cool if we looked at people like, I want to understand, this is how, like, what we should do with our kids, what we should do in the school systems is, like, how do they best, like, we're discovering, we're looking at the new technology. Why should we even assume how it's supposed to go? How about we, like, interact and, like, oh, I'm noticing this is how they respond to things, is, because there was a conflict, I want to say, in the last, years, where I was one of them, too. I was complaining with, like, other moms or whatever, like, God, the kids today, they don't want to drive, they kind of got it made, they don't want to work any job that they don't want to, they don't have to, like, just start up at a job, and, and we were like, God, and I realized, it took me a long time to, like, really, really see something different, where it's like, you know what, it's the questioning again, it's like, why do they have to have a job just because they don't feel the calling? Like, why do they have to have a stupid job at the coffee shop to learn? Like, I'm just saying, I just started to question it in a different way. It's kind of like how, like, a little bit similar, like, if people grew up abused and then they abuse, and then you're like, they're not, why is that abuse happening? It's because those programs or those things have been installed in them. So it's like, oh, I suffered, so you should suffer too, because that's how you're gonna earn it. So I just, again, I don't know, I'm coming back to, like, trying to recognize, like, and I'm trying to break myself free of that, because I've, it's the whole, you wanting people, or I wanting, I want their love, I want their approval, I want them to be happy with me, I want them to be proud of me, I want them to say, finally, you made it. And honestly, trying to do it their way has made me horribly miserable, and unsuccessful. So it's pretty bad. And my passions I still do my passions, are just, I'm trying to...
You're working on prioritizing.
Yeah, I feel like there's something here. I'm only just, like I said, I feel like I'm grateful that at least I'm getting it. I feel like I'm getting it now.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was hearing you kind of say, like, I was talking to these other moms and I was saying this, and it sounds like it's this condition. I can relate to that, because that has played in my mind for so long, and we cannot interrupt it until we become aware of it, right? Until we start questioning, like what I said earlier, like, stop, why? Explain to me why, so I can deeply understand it. And then when it makes sense, I don't even think there's going to be, like, friction or any sort of, like, tension. It would just resolve it. We'll be like, well, I get it. And because I get it, therefore it becomes, like, effortless. But yeah, it's, and I remember a friend of mine was saying the same thing. Like, our children they will probably never drive in their life. Because, he worked in the electric vehicles. He's sort of like an expert, actually. But electric vehicles and somewhat with autonomous, and I've been involved with that industry, right? It's like, they won't have to. It will be like one less thing they need to, like, but why is that a problem? It's only a problem from the standpoint of, this is how we've always done things, right? And we know whenever we hear, like, this is how we've always done it, it's like, yeah, we used to torture people, and so, hold on, are you telling me that because we've always done that, like, we should continue to do it? It's like, it is nonsense.
It's the most annoying thing. I had someone say, like, I remember, I've been eating only plants for, like, probably 10, 11 years, I don't know, something like that. And I remember a few years back, maybe 5, 6 years back, I was at a cousin's house and they were having a barbecue, a carne asada, right? And my cousin goes, hey, we have cactus there if you want to eat it. Nopales, right? And I was like, oh, it's okay. I've never had it. It's just the texture, it's so slimy, in the past, right? And I was like, oh, I know. And then another cousin, that one cousin, you never see her, but when you see her, she ain't got
Or
nothing
relative.
good to say.
That one relative.
You know who you are. And then she goes, what? You used to eat meat? And in that moment, I was like, ugh. Because, everyone says it when you first, change anything.
Oh, yeah.
And something that came to mind that I just share with everyone when that happens is because it was a moment of what you're saying. It's like what you did in the past, right? She said, you used to eat meat. And I just got up and said, and I used to eat boogers too. And I don't eat them anymore, And it's just kind of like that moment, like, why are you trying to box me into what I used to do? You know what I mean? Like, I used to do that, or we always have done this, so you gotta do this. It's like, don't try to tell me.
Yeah,
like, you may meet me today and tomorrow or 2 hours later, I'm a complete different person, and that's my right, and I choose that for myself, so.
It's so interesting you brought that up, and it's been a topic that's been coming up. This is a form of certainty, I think, for people. It's like if they box you in, that's exactly who you are. They know who you are. Mm-hmm. And depending on that relationship, obviously, with that person, maybe not as harmonious yet. But, they can, it's sort of like it supports their treatment of you.
And their control of you.
If control is involved, sure, it supports that as well, right? So the moment you get out of the box, it's like, it brings an element of uncertainty, or like you're no longer in the box, and therefore
they cannot control the box anymore. So there is control.
Yeah. And this is so prominent in society. I think public figures or celebrities get that a lot. It's like, she changed her look, and I think unfortunately that women get it so much more. This is something actually as someone in a male body, right? I haven't been exposed to that as much. But like, who cares, right? And that's how it is for me. That's at least how I perceive it. Like, I don't. For me, it's like it's sort of like this. Like, I don't understand like why this is important to me, but it's a thing.
So, back to what I was saying when we were talking about the moms. One of the things about driving, and it's usually because you're referring to like experiences, like because when we were kids, staying home sucked. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, and you wanted to leave and escape. A car was like the way to escape. I realized though, but I want Sahar to like have all the things I didn't have. So she loves it at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, why does she want to escape where everything she has is there? The love,
everything that she wants is there.
So then that makes sense. So like we're kind of projecting from our past, and that's one of the things that I think happens. People get into a comfort zone. It's like a feeling safe. Like, this is how you are, and this is, what you're saying, how you feel safe, and you can control the situation. And if someone changes, I had one of my first teachers, which I'm really grateful for, Rama, used to say that, be careful, because people we hold images of each other. Mm-hmm. So then when you go back home, if you don't notice, it's almost like they're holding you to when you were young. Yeah. And it's very hard to break out of those, and it is so true, because I would go home and I would always experiment for years, and I'm like, I would just go back to that old version suffering self, because all those beliefs and all those projections, it's so easy to get sucked into it.
It makes you miserable when you go home and visit.
Yes, unless you change. So which is why I have tried and also during practice, and I noticed over time for me, a lot of things shifted. It took a lot of effort for me to internally change so that those things didn't trigger, because I had to be a different version me. Yeah. And that took me a long time. Which is why I recognize that, when we're on the spiritual path, at least, all the people that I've been around a lot of different meditators, and also obviously in pranic healing and stuff, I've noticed if people are consciously doing their work, whatever that is, every time I see them, they're different. And even if you meditate, you could bring down more soul energy. You could be different too. Like, maybe we shouldn't expect our old version self. Maybe we should get excited that more soul energy is coming through. And so basically, I would try not to hold images of people, because I don't want to keep them there. Like, I should see the new. I don't know. So that's just something I do.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. What I've noticed, kind of like with the Nepalese cousin, that you used to eat meat. It's the same thing. It's like, you get that. That's a form of like self-worth. You're just like claiming it.
Yeah.
And you notice the respect that comes back.
I know, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
I
you're
wish I
standing
would
up
have
for
known
yourself.
that
Yeah. It's just
back
like,
in the day.
If you think about it, it is a vibrational frequency that
Yeah.
you're allowing to be in your system. Because the other frequency is like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
you can totally push me over. And now it's like,
They will
no,
destabilize you
absolutely
with
not.
it.
This is not. That I had that same experience where one year I was just like, no. If you're going to do this, I'm going to leave, which I never had. And I just, so these are things I'm
I love that. No, I love that. I wish I would have known that in the past because...
we all do.
No,
It's
but
always
see, the
hindsight.
thing, I was not as kind. Like, if I literally would hate going home to visit family members because it was miserable. As soon as I got there, I would dread it like the weeks before. I'm like, I was already torturing myself. I'm like, oh. And one time I just went with a sledgehammer and I was like, every single one. My little poor
Knocking down walls.
abuelita. My little poor abuelita too. It's like, nope, you don't get to talk to me. Oh, it's just a joke. Yeah, you're laughing at me, bro. You don't get to laugh at me. You can joke about each other, but you're not gonna make me the butt of the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
Like
The joke, yeah.
it's a no. But it's like it wasn't kind of like hey, it wasn't like a gentle conversation, but direct. It was like whoosh, whoosh, Walking Dead says. But guess what? But that's what was in my head. I was like, off with your head, off with your freaking head. And you know what, kid? You too. Off with your freaking head. No, but you know what? That was my process, and I'm able to look at it. Because now when I go home, I'm able to enjoy every single one of them. And I think even though it was gory and messy, not only did I butcher the idea that they had of me, I also butchered that being within myself. I didn't just say, I am this. I showed up. I literally died to be born again, and I got to craft this new being that showed up. And it wasn't from a phony, like, this is who I am, and I'm telling you who I am. It's like I am walking in the shoes that I know that I am, and you can feel it. I don't have to tell you. So because I no longer have to tell you, you come to me with that same kind of feel. It's you don't have to tell me who you are, right? It's like we are here, and it's always so beautifully zen. It's not like we're just like high on vibes, but the vibes are there, and we get to laugh, and it's something that I often hear about my aunts, my old aunties. It's like, I'm so glad that we get to talk about this now, and I never knew this part of you, and now it's kind of like, but it is me, right? And we get to delve into it, and then we go laugh at, whatever, something dumb, but it's like that beautiful magic, and I'm sharing that because we don't have to Walking Dead our family. We can always just say, hey, this is who I be now, or just like you did. And it's just kind of like, it's really just about setting boundaries. And boundaries are never for the other people. They're your boundaries. You must honor your boundaries. They're yours. So, something that my partner would say, like, oh, you don't, I'm like, bro, you're there, it's your line. You gotta honor it. Yeah. I'm honoring mine. I can meet you at the line, but you gotta walk to your line. That's what boundaries are to me. That's how I explained it to him.
Boundaries are a thing. But this is still, like, even for me, this is all still stemming back to, oh my God, I want to make it one word, but it's not one word, like, true, healthy self-love and self-esteem. And like, for me, I mean, just because I know everyone's coming from different places, like, any self thing, because those are the things I feel like I didn't have, like respect, like, that I matter, that, like, that is huge for me. So if you embody it, I'm going to say with love, then that's probably the best thing you can do. Because then love, what is love? Love is such a huge thing. Love can be tough. Love can be gentle. Love can be like, that's God. To me, that's also God. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, but if we're really in that alignment, then, it's like also like something I recently was like mirroring, like, I got your back. because I never felt anyone got my back. Do you know what I mean?
I got your back.
Thank you.
And I got your back. And you have
And we're apparently relentless because we're just like, sledgehammer!
And I got your baby. But you know what? She's a relentless person too, and I love that about you. I
do have a tough something in there.
You mentioned something earlier, and I don't want to cut you off because you were really going hard, but in the past, I've noticed, you were saying that you needed someone to do this and to be that. And I noticed, to me, as I was listening and experiencing what you were sharing, I was also seeing all the times that you showed up that way for me without me asking you. I wasn't asking that of you, but I remember when like a person on the street was like, and you were like, I was like, who is this? Like, all of a sudden, super Wonder Woman, you know? And I was like, whoa. And I didn't need that. I'm a bad bee on my own. But I just love seeing that side of you. And I felt your love immediately. Like, and I was like, okay, go on with yourself. And I love that about you. You are so great. And you're doing amazing. And I'm not just saying
I really appreciate you. I feel like you see me. And that really gets me.
Yeah. And I think you see me too.
Yeah, I do. I try to see everybody. I think. Because I think that's the only thing that's real. People have different purposes. Well, I have had talks with other people sometimes, and they're built, we're built for different things.
Yeah.
Like, how you just feel drawn that, like, somebody just, like, we're into what we're into, like, which is a lot of similarities and art and stuff like that. But some people, like, I feel the need that I don't know, I gotta be, like, in the army or a police officer, or like I've got to be a nurse, or I've got to work, like it's interesting, like on some people, I don't know what this came up somewhere where they're like, or I was at the UPS store, and the girl, she was like so excited, she's going to college and she wants to have her own funeral home, and she's so excited and she thinks it's cool. And that's great, because it made me think you need somebody who's like, I think it's just built into us that we feel driven, and it's kind of good, different things, because we need all, kind of do need those things too. So, but getting back to like honoring and being who we really are.
Yeah, I think that was just is that the word? Encapsulating this session is really about honoring our needs. And really, and the takeaway, I think, for anyone listening or watching would be like, if you don't know what boundaries are, then, or what your boundaries are, maybe sit after this or during this or pause it, whatever it is, and just have a moment to say, where or with whom do I need to set boundaries? And what does that look like for me? Or how could I honor my needs? Or what are my needs? Maybe you don't even know that what your needs are, or maybe you thought you needed some sort of permission. Here it is. You have permission to set and draw your needs and let people know. You may sledgehammer them, or you can take a different approach. But moving forward, I think is so important. I know it to be true. Setting boundaries and figuring what those are for you and your needs and your desires.
That's so beautiful, because bringing it back to the planner, kind of like a full 360. My planner for 2026, there's a big sticky on it that I have, and this was an exercise I was supposed to do and I haven't gotten around to it. What do I need? And I think it says in parentheses like core. What are my core needs? What is it that and it could be like, I want to feel safe. You could say something like that, right? And so and thank you for reminding the audience to maybe consider doing this exercise, because it helps you get this clarity, and then everything would stem. The more clarity you have, and this is a form of awareness, right? And that's why it's like clarity. It's more light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Being more he's having these things illuminated so you understand them, understand what they mean to you and why you deem them important, because they might actually reach as kind of like the gatekeepers for things that are deeper. And it could be something like, I want safety. I want to feel like emotionally safe in the relationship, and then you could start expanding on it. Like, what does this actually entail, right?
Yes.
And you could be like, I want to be able to have these conversations that I'm not able to have with a lot of people, or whatever. I'm just sort of like coming up with examples, but yeah, this was one thing that kind of came from me, and I was like,
I think that's really great, and I think that we should dive deeper into that maybe on the next episode. How to deepen and create spaciousness within that topic, because I think it's so needed for all of us, especially right now.
Yeah.
Breathing into, like, I think it's so important, like the nervous system. I know we were doing that. It's like every time, because I realize my body's rigged in a certain way, and it's like, no, let me breathe into what do I want to feel. And I have noticed for me, like, and that what I've noticed from a lot of studies, like if you want more something, more money, more love, it's like you need to like breathe in and create the space that it is safe to have it, safe to hold it,
to maintain it.
You know, like it's because otherwise we will subconsciously block it. So the safety, and I want to say they also, I've heard associations with guys, women want security and men want freedom. I don't know why. I have a friend who used to say that all the time, right? But so like all of that true, like in a way, like I want to feel safe to have everything I want and to live my best day every day. Like why can't I live my best day every day? And why can't I live it exactly the way I want to live it? Like I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to do this at this time, I'm going to like what I'm the creator, like why do I have to do what everyone else is? What I'm just saying, right? And the freedom to do it, and the freedom to be myself, and that kind of thing. So
yeah, and maybe men and women can both want security and freedom, and also each person can go and look and be like, what does freedom mean to me? What does security mean for for me?
Yeah, that's why I use both anyway. So I'm like, it's kind of, it is a freedom.
I want both and more.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
You want to feel safe. Yeah. See, and the other thing about think bigger. Like how come some people are living in like such a big life, and then some people are like, because they say people settle.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I got. This is all I got.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is wrong with expanding? Like even just for the fun of it, doesn't mean you're bad. Like
people are afraid to dream big.
Just aim to be a millionaire or billionaire.
Yeah.
I did have a friend where I was saying I was listening to some YouTube billionaire stuff only because I was trying to get some ideas of like. They just had nice music and beautiful places and homes, and I'm like, oh, that looks fun to me. And she kind of went on a whole thing about how billionaires are evil, and that was a whole other thing because they right. So then I was like, wow, okay. I'm not saying that you can have a lot of money at any stage or no money at any stage, and you can be good or not good. But what is wrong if you did have that much money?
Yeah. What if you became billionaire overnight and so be it properly?
Yeah.
And then you now became a poster child for what a billionaire looks like, and you're exercising you're exercising this form. It's a form of power, right? It's like, yeah, you're making the connection, but it's like, no, it's like these are these people that are in these situations, and this is how they behave, and you sort of like you draw the whole thing, and now you create like this is the only way you could be. And that's the problem. We know this from Master Cho's teachings, right? It's basically like and I think I'm going to butcher it now, but I believe it was the one where a diamond has like so many facets. It's like billionaire is the diamond. It's like you could look like this, it could look like that, and from this perspective it looks like this. And maybe there's like versions of gajillionaires, because by the time with inflation, billionaire will be like a normal thing. But trillionaires, maybe it just looks like radically different, and how they utilize this form of power. Maybe they're like, I don't need to have a 1,000-foot yacht or whatever. It's like, but also, and I love my 3 stickies that I've been referencing. This is also something from this year. 1, and 2, so 3. What does it have to do with you? Okay, so and so no answer. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It's like, why are you spending your precious life force and lifetime talking about something that like it doesn't really pertain to you? It's like, yes, you're sharing. Let's say you're sharing space and whatever. It's like then you become a billionaire and redefine it.
Ooh.
We had this conversation.
Boom, we have had this, and that can be shared with anything. It's just, but it's like you talk about this diamond with a billionaire, but and it has different facets. But we are diamonds. Mm-hmm. We are diamonds, and we have a lot of facets. So don't let no one tell you who you are. You craft the diamond how you want it to be. Period.
We are the new divine trillionaires.
We are the children, the crystal children.
We gotta do the try.
The trillionaires.
The trillionaires.
I like that.
I like it. I will redefine it.
But it's like what you were saying, like people confining themselves, it's a form of certainty also. You know it's going to be this. There's no surprises there.
Safe
and therefore it's a form of safety.
Yeah. It is scary to go outside of your comfort zone. Period.
Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Life is short.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
And I could say like, I've gone out of my comfort zone many a times, but I would say like in, let's say the last 5 to 10 years, I've also like hit certain things that, you know, with many blessings, like life has gotten me to places where, you know, I was thinking about when you were telling the story about the billionaires, it's like they've seen that it exists. It becomes really easy to believe and to have certainty. It's like, well, I've been there. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, and this is bringing it back to my personal experience. But knowing that you can, like I used to be this, but then I became that. And when I was this, I never thought I could be that. But then I became that. And then when I became that, then I became...
It's fun.
It's
living
totally
from
fun.
like a space of being a kid again.
Love.
Wonderment, adventure,
Joy.
exciting. Like, you know, that's how you develop your muscles because you have to do something.
Thank you for sitting in with us. We love you. We enjoyed it.
Blessings. Be your best version self. Yes.
Peace up. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.